Hey there, fellow travelers, Mark here with Wolters World. Today we're here in Chania, Crete in Greece, and today we're going to talk about are some of the don'ts and a few do's, what you don't do when you are here in Chania, because this is a beautiful city, the Venetian old town. I mean, you're going to love it here, from the old port to exploring the beaches. I mean, there's a reason why this is one of the most popular tourist destinations in Greece and honestly in Europe in general. And I want to start with this. Don't miss out visiting the old port. I mean, when you come here and you see the lighthouse, and you see the Venetian port with the buildings around, it is just gorgeous, and you just want to kind of spend time there. And that's one thing I want to tell you is when you come here, you're going to want to be at that port, and don't feel bad if you decide to eat on the port, because yes, there's a ton of tourist restaurants like behind me and around the way that are very much tourist restaurants, you know, with the pictures all over the place, the multiple languages. But honestly, for the views you have and just the space you have and the kind of ambiance of being here, this is one of the places where it's always worth it to go eat on the harbor, just to have a good time, okay? Just for at least once when you're here, do that so you can kind of take it all in, all right? And once you've eaten and you've enjoyed the harbor, my next don't for you is don't forget to go wander around the Venetian Quarter. There's so many things to see. Churches to see, you got to see that, but it's the shopping, the market street kind of stuff, and also like the high street kind of shopping as well. You have that, so that's kind of a nice thing to kind of put it together. And that's why this makes a really great base for travelers, because you've got the beach excitement, you've got the historic stuff, but also you have shopping you can do. So you got to take care of a lot of the fun things you like to do on vacation all in one town. Another important don't I think you should know when you come here, Chania, is don't forget you can actually come up here onto the fortifications, onto those walls, part of the port. By the lighthouse, you can walk up along there. Also, if you're looking to come up here, that is the entrance to the Maritime Museum right there. You walk through, you can come up here, you can climb up there, get great views of the port, of the Venetian port back there, but also views of the lighthouse, and also look at the view. Look at this. Look how beautiful it is. That crystal clear blue. It's just amazing. You just fall in love with Crete more. So don't forget to come up here as well when you are walking around the city, because you're going to be here anyway, so come enjoy the views. And if you really want to do the museum kind of things, don't forget there is an archaeological museum here and a maritime museum, so you can get some more of that history when you're here. But let's be honest, you're here for the beach. That's why people come to Chania. They come to Crete to enjoy the sun, the surf, the sand, yes. And that's what I would tell you is don't worry about finding beaches when you are here in Chania, because once you leave this port area, once you're going down along the coast, it is sandy beaches all the way. And what's cool is there's accommodation down both sides of the beaches going down, so wherever you're looking, you're not going to have a hard time finding a nice beach to go to. And when you're going to those beaches, I want to tell you one safety thing. Don't touch the sea urchins. You'll see them. They look like little spiky balls. They look like they're a villain from a Super Mario Brothers game, right? And when you do see them, you don't see them a lot, but you'll notice the water here is crystal clear. Like, don't miss out on taking a glass-bottom boat to go and see, you know, the water, the animals, the fish. It's gorgeous. But those prickly balls, if you step on one of those, you're going to be in a world of hurt, okay? So do be careful with that. If you're at the beaches along the way, it's not usually an issue, but just be aware of it, especially if you have little kids. And if you're going to go to those beaches, don't cheap out and not get the chairs and the beach umbrella, because you really do. I mean, we were at Kalamaki Beach down the way, and it was like by there, I think it was like €9 for 2 chairs and an umbrella. Other places, it was €4 per chair. Go and find those, because you do need protection from the sun. Because honestly, the two most dangerous things you're going to have to deal with when you're here in Chania, one is the sun, and two is the driving. And I'll talk about that later. But honestly, don't pass up getting those chairs just so you have a place to put your stuff and enjoy the water. And to protect you from that sun, because honestly, don't mess with the sun when you're here. Sunblock, reapply it multiple times. I know I've been putting it on multiple times, and you notice I still got a little red tinge. I'm using 50, putting on every 2 hours. So you do need to reapply when you're here, especially if you're getting in the water. And then my other safety thing, remember I said about the driving? I think that's another thing, is don't be scared to drive or rent a car when you're here, because honestly, there are so many rental car companies. If you want international rental car companies, they have that. If you want small mom and pop rental cars, they have that. Whether it's the airport, in town, down by the beaches, you have plenty of chances to rent cars. You don't have to rent it the whole time. You can just rent it for a day, because there are some really great day trips. And so moving into those day trips, I gotta say is don't pass up the pink beaches. Specifically, if you're going to Eleftheris Beach, which is just it's the pink beach. Like when you go to the kind of west side of Crete, you'll see all this pink sand. It is just gorgeous. And Eleftheris Beach is like the hub, like the place to go. Easy drive, maybe an hour and a half from here, not too hard to go. Now, if you do get tired of the beaches and the beautiful water and the fantastic food and the nice people and the the beautiful city. Yeah, don't forget, you can actually go hiking in the Samaria Gorge, which is a really, really cool hike. I mean, this is, the legend is, the myth is that one of the Titans cut with a knife the land and it split it down there. When you walk through it, when you hike through it all day, you really see it. You're like, oh wow, I can see why they thought that. I can see where that myth came from. And it's gorgeous, but I gotta tell you, don't forget to bring water with you. Okay, don't forget to bring some snacks with you because that's gonna be a whole day hike. Some people say it's 4 or 5 hours. Some people say it's 7 or 8 hours. It depends on, obviously, your skill, but you do want to make sure you do bring stuff so you can get through that. This is not we'll throw some flip-flops on and go for the day or go for the afternoon. No, it's a full day thing, but it is one of those beautiful places you can visit here. That's not a beach, but when you get to the end, there's a beach you can kind of go to when you are there. Because honestly, when you come here to Chania, you don't want to miss out on the water. Whether you are enjoying the crystal clear water and swimming around, you can go windsurfing to places. People will rent windsurfing boards for you when you're here, going out on the boats, scuba diving. If you want to learn how to scuba dive, you can take classes here, snorkeling around. I know our kids love snorkeling here when we've come here, and you'll see the fish swimming with you, and since it's so crystal clear, you really can't see so much. It's a much more enjoyable kind of diving experience than if you're in more of the muddier waters and other places, along the Mediterranean. Now, when you come into Greece in general, food is a big thing, and I'm going to tell you, here in Crete, it's no different, and here in Chania, of course, it's no different either. And I got to tell you this. One, don't ever say no to the raki or that drink they give you at the end. And you notice when you go to a restaurant, you have a good meal, they'll bring like a clear liquor and maybe a small glass or maybe a little shot glass of things, and they'll put it on the table. If you got kids with you, they might bring some little desserts. That's always free. That's like a thank you for eating here kind of thing. And that raki, that is like if you go to Italy, it's the grappa, it's the pressed grape liquor. It's a strong liquor. If you're not used to it, it can be a little hot, let's say, not spicy, but like, just because alcohol can be a little hot in some people's throats, that can be something, but you don't pass it up. That is a real thing for here in Crete in general, is getting the raki. Another thing I got to tell you, when you're looking at drinks, don't pass up Cretan wine when you are here, because whether it's red, white, just get that house wine when you're here from the local vineyard. You'll be fine. It'll be tasty, delicious, and affordable. And I think another good thing to mention about Chania is don't worry about your budget when you're here in Chania. No matter what your budget is, Chania has something for everybody. If you want to go higher end, they have that. If you're a family going middle class, they have that. If you're a budget traveler, they have budget food, accommodation, all kinds of stuff. And so that's what's really nice for tourists when you're here as well. Everybody can enjoy this. Like, I came here when I was a solo traveler. Jocelyn came here when she was a student. We came here when the boys were little and Wolters World was nothing and we were making no money at all. Like, it was like we could enjoy it. And now that we've gotten to be able to enjoy it here, the family brought our friends, and it's really great. No matter what kind of group you are coming here, you could all enjoy it at all budget points, which is fantastic. And for tourists that come to Chania, I know some people get worried about Greek. They're like, I haven't taken math for a few years. I don't remember the letters. Don't worry about your non-existent Greek. People here speak English in Chania because tourism is the main industry here. So therefore, every restaurant, they'll speak English. The restaurants will all have things in English, so you'll be okay. Because I know some people, they get worried going to a country. It's one thing if you don't speak the language. It's another thing when you're like, I don't know the letters, or if I do, I have PTSD from algebra class. And when you are eating here, I got to give you a warning. Don't order like you do at home. At home, like, I'll get a starter and a main dish, and Josh will get a starter and a main dish. The portion sizes here in Crete in general, at Chania, they're huge, okay? So if you're going out with 2 people, you might both just get a starter and split a main course because it's that big. I mean, every time we've gone anywhere, it's been like, okay, the boys are gonna order stuff. All right, I'll just eat what's left over from them because there's so much there. Same thing with Joust and our friends. I mean, the portion sizes are crazy. What's cool, the tradition here in Chania and Crete in general is to share your food. So it's normal that, hey, we'll get a dish and we all kind of share it with our friends. That's totally fine. So be a Cretan and don't get overstuffed. Well, you'll get overstuffed here. There's nothing you can do. Like, even when they give you the big plate and you share it, you're still like, oh my God, I ate so much food. It's crazy. But you'll love it because the food's so good here. But the portion sizes are huge. Don't be afraid to share those, okay? Also, don't think you're going to eat at the same time as back home, because this is island time, right? And also it's hot and it's Greece. And realize that breakfast time, there is no breakfast time, because people here in Crete and Chania, yeah, breakfast is maybe you get some Crete yogurt with honey, and of course Greek coffee, or maybe frappe. You might have that, but in general, breakfast isn't much of anything here. And what you'll notice is lunch is a lot later. Like, lunch is between like 2:30 and 4 o'clock. That's like prime lunchtime when you are here in Chania. Now, if you're going to be here in the old port, or you're going to be on the beach where the beach bars are, they'll serve you food earlier. They'll serve you lunch earlier, no problem. But in general, for like the normal like local restaurants, it's something to kind of think about. I think that's another don't. If you're gonna have a car, don't be afraid to go adventure out a bit more inland. And I talked about the gorge, I talked about the beaches on the west side, but if you're going to some of the villages, you can get some really fantastic food and get a non-touristy experience without even driving that far out of Chania. So maybe look for some restaurants a bit farther out, and even if they don't speak English, you're gonna have some good food anyway, so don't worry about it. And that's why when you're here thinking Chania, it's good to mention some of the kind of Cretan specialties. Like, don't miss out on some of the Cretan specialties. One, you have stafado, which is a beef stew, or sometimes it'll be a lamb stew. You can have that. There's stuffed peppers, stuffed zucchini, stuffed tomatoes, like that with rice inside. That's fantastic. Oh, the dakos. Oh yeah, don't diss the dakos. I'm making a special one for this. Dakos are basically Greek bruschetta, or Greek bruschetta if you prefer. And that's the thing, is when you look online, they're like, oh, they try to make some fancy description of it. Dude, it is just bruschetta, okay? And it's gonna have like the really crispy kind of bread, and then there's the olive oil on it with the smashed tomatoes, and then the Cretan cheese on top. Oh my God, it's so good. You can't miss that. Like, that's a starter you should have when you're here. It is a thing you really must have. But also there's other great things. Here in Crete, you have so many different versions of lamb. Just like, oh, that's the word lamb, I'll get that. And then you literally, if you're here for a week, you can have different lamb pretty much every single day, and it'll be a different style. It'll be fantastic. Because what's funny is, don't think of Crete as like a fisherman's island. Think of it more as a shepherd's island. And then you start to see is, yes, there's the good fish, like the bream, and there's swordfish, there's all kinds of good fish, but also you're gonna have really good meats when you are here. The pork, the beef, the lamb, obviously, is gonna be good. You can have goat when you're here as well. And if you're looking for something a little bit lighter, the salads here are great. Honestly, I love getting the Cretan pies. It's just like a little pot pie or empanada for my friends from South America. And, you know, just basically a folded over pastry that has maybe cheese in it, or it might have like wild greens here, because in Crete, they love their wild greens. You'll see, like, you're like, am I eating weeds? Yes, you are. And yes, they are wonderful. Now, a little low-key thing for your accommodation when you're here, don't forget to find out if you can flush the toilet paper. Because some places, new builds, it's usually not a problem. You can flush toilet paper, no big deal. But some of the older buildings you might stay in, if you're doing an apartment rental, some of the older hotels out and about, you might want to see if you do need to like put it in the bin next to it. Now, this is not like it used to be. This used to be a lot more common. Now, not so much, all right? But it's good to know. And also, don't throw like the feminine hygiene products or any like bigger things. Like if you have the flushable wipes, do not throw those down the toilet, because those things the pipes cannot handle. So do be aware of that. And honestly, when you're looking for accommodation, don't worry about accommodation. Like I said, there's budget for everybody. But one thing I think is really important is, don't think you're just gonna find everything on like booking.com or TripAdvisor, because there's so many independent places here that there's literally businesses that just manage like 20 apartments or 20 houses, and they do that, and you can find incredible deals and work with locals when you're here, or people that lived here for a long time. I know we go with Microcosmos Creta, two of our friends, Enrico and Bea. They help manage like 20 properties here. Like, oh, Mark, where would you like to stay this time? And they help us find a place that's just right for us. And that's the kind of personal care I think you get better than like a website where you're doing that. And since most of the people speak English, when you call up, they can help you out as well. So that's one of the things I think is important to mention, okay? And then when you are here, whether you're here in the old town or you're along the coast, I gotta tell you this, when it gets to sundown time, don't you dare miss the sunset here in Chania. It is just gorgeous. If you're on the beaches on the west side, like I was talking about, it's truly incredible. But anywhere along the coast, you see these beautiful, beautiful sunsets. They kind of remind you just how much you love Chania, how much you love Crete, and how much you want to come back. So what are some other don'ts you have, or do's you do have, for tourists coming here to Chania? Let us know in the comments section below so other travelers can have a great time in this beautiful city. And I'll say bye from here in Chania.